Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hope everybody had a wonderful summer. Did lots of laborious work in the yard, working on their layouts. I know I did. But welcome back to a third season of Large Scale Live. We're happy to see everybody. It's like we got a lot of people sitting in the chat there. We started a little bit late here, so I'm going to skip over to all the hellos. I'll just say in general to everybody in the chat, hello. Thanks for tuning in. I'm just looking to see if we had anybody that had something popping up here already.
Kyle says we're late.
We're late. Well, you know, when Kyle wants to be our manager. Okay, I got to put that comment up there. I like that one. I guess for anybody that's not aware, I'll address the elephant in the room. Yes, I put weight on over the summer. I let myself go. I apologize. No,
I thought you were talking about. I thought you were talking about me.
No. Obviously, anybody that doesn't know, you're wondering where Sean is at, and Sean decided to step away from the show. There wasn't anything bad that happened or negative or anything. He has a lot going on, a lot of different projects, and he decided he wanted to try and focus on some other things more, which was absolutely fine. I hope that we see him again one day. Maybe we'll have him as a guest if he covers a show or anything like that. But Nico was gracious enough to take no pay to fill the spot. Actually, he's paying me to do it, but you know,
I got robbed.
Yeah, he got robbed. It is what it is, right? It's the let's see, where'd it go? Yeah, see, as the screen says, it's the Nico gets robbed special.
Exactly.
Just kidding. But Nico is my new partner in crime on doing the show. So let's see if we got anybody in the chat asking anything.
Sean decided to be a three-railer and abandoned us.
Well, he was always a three-railer at heart. So, let's see. What do we got going here? Of course, in typical fashion, everybody, I apologize. I'm never ready when the show starts. So,
yeah, it's all your fault.
Yeah, it's all mine. I was looking to see if my friend Heath was in the chat. I'd blame him. Mm-hmm. But I guess before we get going any further here, let's thank our sponsor, Splitjaw, for sponsoring the show, and we'll be right back.
The following episode of Large Scale Live is brought to you by Splitjaw, makers of quality metal products for the G-scale modeling world. For rail clamps, expansion joints, bridges, and more, Splitjaw Products has you covered. For more information, visit their website at www.railclamp.com.
All right. And any of you that showed up, if you got the email from Splitjaw for the show, we kind of got mixed up on communication, so you might have gotten the email to watch the show last night, but I guess it's better to be a day early than a day late. So we'll get it right next time.
Day late and $1 short.
So let's see. Find the right screen here. So I guess let's start off with if we have anything coming up. We have some shows and different things that are coming up, I believe, right, Nico?
Yep. Well, next weekend, your RLD Hobbies.
Oh, yeah.
RLD's open house. I'm driving. Vincent and I are driving out to Illinois on Thursday. So we'll see anybody there that's going to be there.
Yeah, let's see. Let me find the info for that.
It's Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday.
Pretty official dates for it, which is the 20. What do we got there? The 30th and the 1st.
Ah, okay. And I promise, but I can't commit to it, that I'll be more prepared next time, everybody. You think I had all summer to get ready for this, but Let's see. Yeah, so we said that we had. Everything's missing. So yeah, we have that coming up, and then I think the next thing after that's going to be what the East Coast show will be coming up.
Yep. So they have set the dates for the East Coast show, April 7th and 8th, 2023. As of right now, it's still going to be in the same shopping center in Annapolis next door to Star Hobby.
Okay. Did you happen to talk to Don then?
Yeah. And then the other option, he said, so if anybody's been there and you're facing Star Hobby, right now the East Coast show is in the strip mall on the right of Star Hobby. If anything happens, if they get enough traction and more things, more vendors, more clubs want to participate, the strip mall to the left of it has just been vacated. So he has the opportunity to do that as well. So, I mean, really it's up to vendors and clubs if they want to participate as the show will grow larger again.
Absolutely. And I know I'm one behind, but I finally found my info, so I just threw it up there for RLD. And if you'd like to get more info, go to the website there for RLD. You'll have this info listed up there. They've got the hotel on that listed. As a general reminder that I'll point out that he puts on his website, this isn't like a swap meet for everybody to show up and sell stuff. It's to show up and hang out and run trains. But if you've sold stuff beforehand and you're delivering it to somebody there, he has no issue with that. And of course, to catch back up with Nico finally, I'll put the info for East Coast up there. And of course, their website. I think Nico gave more information than what's on the website at the moment, but keep an eye on their website for more updated info. As of right now, I plan on being there unless something catastrophic happens.
Well, all of us plan on being there as long as nothing catastrophic happens.
I mean, if I don't go, I don't know how Nico will get a third table for free, but just saying. Is that your serious look or your funny look? I'm not sure.
That was my no comment look.
The no comment look. I like it. Actually, two other things. There's also going to be the big train operators have their convention coming up, and I believe it's going to be in Bird in Hand, PA this year, June 18th and 24th. And as a reminder on the big train operators, their convention isn't open just to the general public. You need to be a member, but it's actually a really good club to join up with. Their membership dues aren't that much. They send you, I want to say 4 publications a year. They send you a magazine. So you might want to check them out. If you go to their website there, they've got more info. And then the only other thing that I'm aware of at the second, or at least that I have info on, is going to be the NGRC coming up this year. And of course,
where's that this year? Oh, California.
Yeah, California. That's going to be, I think that's going to be in our friend Colin Camarillo's backyard, possibly.
We went out to the one in Tennessee, which got canceled due to COVID, and then they had it the following year. And we didn't go out for the layout tours, but we did the show, and we had a good time.
Yeah. Hey, as long as there's other people to hang out with and talk about trains, it's always a good time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's drop that out of there.
Did you want to talk about what the future shows will be like with?
Yeah, exactly what you're looking at. No, I'm just kidding. But not really. No, it'll be a lot of unpreparedness. Things not working right before the show. But yeah, let's do that. So let me get that off the screen. So, well, do you want to start off with Nico? I know you have your bit of vision about it.
Well, we'd like to cover a little bit for everybody. So cover stuff for entry level up to, experienced modelers and everything in between. We also have our email if you want to put that up, Andrew, on the bottom there. We're always looking for suggestions. If there's a topic that you want to see us cover, or we could find somebody that's an expert, so to speak, in that topic, to help facilitate that, and we can go over other things. I know we haven't covered, but Andrew and Sean have covered in the past installations of Revo and other systems. I mean, if there's something that you want specifically for us to review, go over, show, email us. We want to put on a show for you all. So that's what we're looking for as the future of the show. Guests, we've already been talking to some future guests, trying to get some more people that are in the industry. So we have some people coming up from that. We're just solidifying dates for them. As we get 100% on board, we'll start filling in the dates of when those people will be on and who they are.
Yeah. Right now, I know we have our next guest lined up. We're going to have, I always say the name wrong. And I even had him tell me how to say it. I always want to say Logos Creek, but I believe it's like
Yagus.
There we go.
Got to let your, European come out.
I got to think about that one for a minute.
Language-wise.
I'm like, what are we talking about here? I'm just scrolling back up through the chat here real quick to see if anybody had any questions or anything. Oh, hey, there's a good question. Andrew B was asking expansion joints. When do you use them?
Do you want to cover that, or you want me to?
Yeah.
Say?
Go ahead.
No, you.
Oh, wait. We'll do a ventriloquist ask. Nico, talk while I drink. Good. No, expansion joints are mainly going to be when you have track outside, and it's, to me at least, when you have it laying in an area where it's in the sun a lot, where it's going to heat up and cool and expand, contract. The expansion joints are going to allow that to actually kind of move without the track buckling on you. Myself personally, I don't have any on my layout. Most of my layouts in the shade, I get a little bit of sun on it. I don't know what Nico's experience has been with.
So my last layout was 100% in the sun, and I had 0 expansion joints. But then again, I did not have long straight runs. Mine kind of meandered back and forth. Anybody had been to my house in New Jersey saw it and know what I mean. So I believe they're really beneficial when you have long straight runs.
Yeah. Sounds reasonable.
And in the sun.
Yeah. My head kind of gets a little bit red when I'm in the sun too much. So
you need to put an expansion joint on top of there.
Wouldn't that be called plugs? I don't think I'm doing that. Let's see here.
Joe, I think it was Joe Lipinski said, he actually said 2 things. We missed, we did not cover the show up in Massachusetts, the Big E.
Do you see his comment in there?
Yeah, he commented up a little bit here.
Yeah, if you want to click on it.
Let me find it. Amherst.
Okay. Yeah, I've never been to that one. I hear that's a rather large show. Have you ever been there, Nico?
I've been there 3 times, I believe, 3 or 4 times. It is a large show. again, it's been, for me, it was hit or miss with G-Scale. You always find some G-Scale, but if it's something, whether or not it's what you're looking for is the the next portion of it.
Yeah, I believe this is the right site for it, right?
Yes.
Let's see.
January, I thought he said the dates too.
It says, looking to see where it said hours, directions. I need directions on how to run a live stream.
January 28th and 29th.
Oh, I did have it in there? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that wasn't one that was on my radar because I was kind of looking at like G-Scale specific, but that is a rather large one, so I apologize for missing that because that is a good one to mention. Let's see. Was there anything else in here?
I didn't see. I mean, I saw that scrolling by.
I'm just scrolling real quick here. No, John, I'm not sleeping at the Switch. I see your comment back there.
We have one. I'd love to hear more about RailPro. Philip Williams. Didn't John Straczynski?
Yeah.
Messed up his name. You, Sean, and John had done a whole tutorial on that.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. If you go and check out Jonathan's YouTube channel, look for Jonathan the Fish Guy. He's actually got a bunch of videos on it on there. But if you go back and if you go to our website at largescaletrains.com and you go to the large scale live section for the archives, all the past shows are in there, and the one with Jonathan where he went over RailPro will be in there. I've got no problem with doing more stuff on it in the future, but I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't own RailPro, so I don't have anything to play with to tell you. At some point, I will probably get some RailPro just to check it out because it seems to be what everybody's into and has questions on, but I'm pretty much 100% Revolution at this point, and with having it in about every locomotive to actually like change everything over is a bit of a task, but I'm sure any of you guys that have completely gone RailPro and switched over from any other system know the amount of time that goes into that. But if time and money allows, I'd like to get a RailPro set up, put it in a couple engines just so I can mess around with it and be able to actually give some input on it. So there's one thing I don't like to do. I don't like to talk about stuff I know nothing about. I like to give sound information.
So, not that so the hype with RailPro, I see some of the attraction to it, but for me, the price point is it's a higher price point. And again, just like Andrew was saying, I've got a lot invested in Revo.
Invested. So, I got to look that up.
Invested as well. Yes. So, I mean, for me right now, the Revo's working. It does what it needs to do. I will be buying a RailPro in the future, and probably just putting it in one or two engines. But that's all I can say on that note. But there's also he's got a question for you in there.
Yeah, I saw it.
That must be right on top of the pouring kits that I sent him. I gave him. What was that? 3 years ago now?
Well, I don't know if I can do a video on those now because it'd be like favoritism.
That would favoritism.
No. To answer your question, Colin, no, it's about halfway done like it was the last time we talked about it. I had a lot of bench type projects that I didn't even come close to looking at this summer because I spent probably from mid-May. Let's see, when was it that you and Vincent were up here, Nico? Was that
June? June.
Beginning of June? Mid-June?
Mid-June.
Yeah, so up until about mid-June, I think I spent about every weekend and a few weeknights working on my layout, which we'll talk about that a little bit in a little bit here. But yeah, I spent most of my time actually working on the layout rather than other stuff, but I promise, Colin, I will, because I really want to lower the U25s because they'll look a lot better. Just like I got lowering kits from Nico.
Sorry, did I laugh out loud?
No, you're fine. I like to laugh at least once a day. I look in the mirror in the morning, start the day off right. But yeah, I'll get to it. Let's see. Do we have anybody else in here with anything? Whoa! Now the chat just jumped on me.
Revo is we've got Revo 100% and Revo is junk. Can't make everybody happy.
Hey, there's Gerald.
That's what I said.
Good to see you, Gerald. I see Joseph Lipinski had says, have you guys seen Model Train Technology and tried to get him as a guest? I'm not sure who Model Train Technology is. Have you heard of that?
I wrote it. I saw when he posted that. I wrote it down to look it up after the show.
Okay. Hopefully it's not somebody super large that I should know about and I look dumb. Oh, wait, I look dumb all the time. It's okay.
It happens.
Unfortunately, I don't know everything that's out there.
You don't?
No, I don't. Just ask my wife. She knows more than me.
No comment.
All right. Did you see anything else in the chat there that we needed to grab, Nico?
Nope. Mike Will likes the MU functionality of the Revo.
Let's see. Oh, Joseph Lipinski, I believe he's talking about the place he mentioned earlier. Says they have the new G-scale signal system. That does sound interesting.
Okay. Yeah, we'll look into it. See if he'd be interested in coming to show.
Okay.
It's funny how Andrew and I have been trying to reach out to different companies and just sent them an email, and it's funny how we get some reply and some we get no response.
Yeah, and I try to not be the guy that like badgers people, so sometimes I don't know if I send an email that they didn't get it, it went to spam, they did get it, and they said, I don't want to talk to this clown. I wouldn't want to talk to me. Mm-hmm. But we have a rather large list of places we've reached out to. So we'll keep working on it. Like I said, we've got a handful of people that are already committed. Oh yeah, that's right. Paul Carr, the future man.
Australia, right? He's in Australia?
Yes, from the land down under. Thought I already did that. Did I not have that up there? Yeah, I had it up there. I'll throw it up there again.
Yeah.
Again, if you want to. All right, I thought my phone was on silent. That ain't what I wanted. Sorry about that. Yeah. If you have questions, feedback, want to say it was great, the show sucked. Well, don't tell us it sucked. We'll feel bad. No, but if you got feedback for us or ideas or anything, please send it to our email. It's info@largescaletrains.com. And of course, if you know Nico or I personally, you can always feel free to text us, message us, send smoke signals. Well, not smoke signals. That might be dangerous.
Yes.
And I don't know how to read them.
We don't want to let the smoke out. You can never put it back in.
Ooh, yeah, this is true.
The electronic smoke, that's never a good sign.
No. The last time I had that happen, it was one of the capacitors. I think it was a USA GP30. It popped. When I opened it up, it just kind of looked like confetti went all over the place. Let's see. All right. In thinking about that, I think we kind of caught up.
You want to start going over your...
Well, real quick, what I was going to mention is obviously, as everybody's seen, the day of our show is different and the time, 7 o'clock on Sundays. The past 2 seasons, if everybody's probably really aware, we did the show every 2 weeks. We did it bi-weekly. For now, probably for this season, or longer, forever. Not forever. I'm not going to live forever, but we're just going to be doing the show monthly, and mainly, it's just there's a lot of moving pieces that take place in putting the show together, even though I show up unprepared anyhow. But it's just to kind of ease
now
the
we'll
level
just
of
give
work.
you more time in between each show to show up unprepared.
Yeah, see, yeah, you're helping me out already. Thanks, buddy.
I'm an optimist. That's what I do.
But so the way it's going to work for now is the last Sunday of each month is going to be the live stream. So I don't think I have that listed on the site yet, but if you want to mark it down, 7 p.m. Eastern, last Sunday of the month, which, yes, is going to include, I believe, December 25th. Yes. So, unless Nico's changed his mind, December 25th, you can hop on at 7 and find out what Nico and I got for Christmas. I'm not in the live stream, so hopefully not Cole.
Well, I use that on the 7.5 inch right on, so I'll take Cole.
There you go. If I get Cole, I'll trade it to you. What do you got?
It's aristo-craft, USA trains. What do you look for?
I like it all.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Our
Don't forget to smash the like button, guys.
Yeah, that is actually
That's funny.
That's my friend Sterling, and if you're not familiar with his channel, I suggest you to go and check it out. He has a lot of good content. He does I think mostly HO and O, but I know we all dabble in different scales. And if you've ever wondered who the booming voice is for the voiceover for our promo for Splitjaw, that'd be Sterling. He has a very penetrative voice. I don't think anybody would pay attention to me. So, let's see. So yeah, let's see. What did we have next on the list here?
Your layout updates.
My layout updates. Well, so I'm trying to think where I left off with this last season. I think I was talking about I was changing out the curves to go to wider radiuses. Radii. Let's see.
So what are you at a 5 foot diameter now?
At one end of the layout, I am at 16 and 14 foot diameter curves. And then out on the far end where it passes by the shed, I think I'm at 20 and 18 foot diameter. And I'm just trying to find my pics here. Let's see. Thanks, Nuke. I can't remember how many ones are there, but yes, radii. Let's see. Let's share here. I see Bill Lynch has a question for you there while I'm looking for my folder here.
Send me an email at 4trackrr@gmail and I'll send them to you.
4-track, you said?
Yeah.
Perhaps that one?
That one.
There you go.
Send me an email there, Bill, and I have them still, so I'll send them to you.
All right. All right, I think I found my pictures. Hope if I share the screen, maybe.
That might help.
We'll give that a whirl. Let's see how that works out. So let me get that off of there. Unfortunately, before you can start anything in the spring, you tend to have to clean things up. And
oh, good God, what is that?
Exactly. Yeah, I kind of tend to have a leaf and pine needle problem. And of course, the vegetation likes to try and take over. but it's nothing that, ground clear vegetation killer won't handle. And thinking about that, well, I know you don't use a whole lot of chemicals on your stuff, do you, Nico?
I don't use any chemicals.
You don't use any?
Nope. I use these. These are my weed pullers.
Well, I invite you to come on over, because if you see the amount of pine needles in there, if you just want to ask Cody how he feels about those pine needles on the back end of the layout, he'll let you know.
I have a chainsaw that takes care of all the pine needles.
Well, bring it on up next time. We can do that, because those trees need to go.
I just took down a 100-foot tree on Saturday morning.
Yeesh. But yeah, as you can see, you kind of tend to collect a lot of stuff. I have had this idea, like to, along the back edge of the fence over here, to like hinge the bottom panel, so late at night I could like kick it out and let the wind blow all the leaves out. But then my neighbor probably wouldn't like me. So we won't do that. But so yeah, I'm sure anybody else out there with their layout can relate to having to clean things up when the springtime comes around. But let's see.
See, if you just run all year long, then you don't have to clean it up.
That's a novel idea. I appreciate that.
I'm just trying to help.
But yeah, once you get it all cleaned up and you can actually start looking at stuff. And for anybody asks, yes, that's actually turf mat that I have down. And let's see if I had info for that. I actually ended up
surprised. That looked really good.
Yeah, and I actually find that in the springtime, I want to say, Big Lots gets it in, and it's let's see, $65 is what they charge for it. I usually wait till when they're closing out the season by the end of June. Summer's over in all the stores, and they usually, I think, they have like 20 or 30% off. But actually, once it's down for a while and conforms to the ground, that's not bad. Yeah, they're 5 feet by 6.5 feet. And
here's a solution for you.
What we got? In Florida, we don't have that problem. We have all palm trees. But then I'd probably get hit by a coconut, and well, I guess it wouldn't hurt anything.
Say, you already look like a coconut.
Yeah. This is just a close-up picture if anyone's interested when that stuff's new on the roll. One of the things I like about it is they actually put some kind of dead-looking fibers in there that if you put all nice, lush, perfect green stuff down, then it's going to look kind of off. But I think I got a close-up picture of it here somewhere. What's that all about? Google Chrome downloading something. So this is actually after it had been down for a little while, and I didn't level the ground underneath it or anything, and it seems like it's kind of starting to conform to it. Kind of makes it look a little bit more natural. And it at first, like, I didn't seam it or anything, so you have to kind of play with that to hide it. And obviously you can get other turf and stuff out there, but let me see here if I can, what was I looking for? Oh, here, I'll touch on that real quick since I saw the picture. Speaking of, running year round, I don't know. Do you got a rotary plow I can borrow, Nico, for the wintertime?
I was actually starting to build one, and now that I don't live anywhere in the north, I don't need it anymore.
You could build it for me.
I could.
I
was even going to make the chute, so you could switch sides. And so whatever direction the rotary was spinning, the chute would automatically switch.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, there was someone some time ago, and I think the videos are on YouTube, that they built a rotary, And I believe that they used
a vacuum cleaner impeller.
Yeah. And
Yep.
if I remember seeing the videos of it, like I'm pretty sure it would be shooting the snow over top of my fence if I was running it. Like it was pretty beefy.
They were using like a DeWalt drill motor.
Yes, you are correct.
Yep, my one of my other friends built one.
So let's see here.
But we don't really get that down here, so I don't have to worry about that.
I like John. No white stuff allowed. I'll send it all to your place, John. You have an elevated layout. You can handle it.
Doesn't it just pile on top of it then?
I don't know.
It doesn't just like go around it.
We'll have to get John to send us some pictures this winter and let us know. Oh yeah, Kyle must be talking about the rotary.
Yeah. Yep.
So back to talking of my expansion. I know it's kind of hard to see everything here, but
wait, are we talking about your expansion or the layout expansion?
I imagine people probably want to hear more about the layout expansion, rather than my gut expansion.
Yep.
This picture isn't the best overall, but you kind of get the gist. This before I started expanding it out, this is what I had. It ran down to the end of the yard, to the fence line, and back around. And of course, looking the other way, that's of course where it circled around in the house. And if you're wondering about this small piece of turf over here with the station on it, that's a small piece I bought to try out years ago. And it was more expensive than the stuff at Big Lots. So I never bought any more, and I've just kind of left that laying out there. But that said, I have a better solution to snow. I run indoors for the winter. If I had a basement, I would entertain that. I thought about the attic, but my head really doesn't like hitting the rafters up there. And I feel like I'd do the Chevy Chase thing and like step through and fall through the ceiling. I could see it happening now, and I really don't want to fix my ceilings. Hey, there's my friend Heath.
Just do what I did, move south. Then you don't have to worry about it.
Well, when the house next door to you is up for sale, let me know. We can build connecting railroads.
It just sold.
It just sold. How convenient. You tell me about it after it sells. I thought we were friends.
And they just closed on the 22nd.
Dang. I'll be honest with you. I really don't want to be shopping for houses at the moment. Or really in general. Moving is like not an easy thing. Like I remember when I moved from my apartment to the house, like, what year is this? 16, 18 years ago, whatever the heck it was. I definitely don't want to try moving with all the junk I have now.
This is my 6th house.
Your 6th one? Jeez. So let's see. Here we go. This is probably a good picture. So I think this is about where I left off with it last season. Let's see if I zoom in here. You can kind of see I was starting to lay out the larger curves on this end of the layout, and I'm glad I did, especially after I had some 89-foot flat cars that came to visit and one stayed. So obviously I started on that end, and this was the spring where I actually started pulling it up and relaying the wider curves. And if you see the 2 cars that are sitting there, I think that flat's like the center beam's like a 60 footish or so. And I want to say the piggyback, that's a stretched USA. I think it's like 73 feet. And this both have body mounts on them. And they run perfectly fine around the curves. What is a house? Oh, okay. Heath lives in an apartment. He doesn't know what houses are. Let's see. Oh, one thing I'll throw a picture up here that I started doing with this expansion.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Chuck. When you're going with wider radiuses, obviously you're going to need larger switches. I think the go-to thing is what, the number 6 switches, Nico?
Yeah.
What you see a picture of here is, and I don't have the model number in front of me. It's essentially, I think it's like a 16.5-foot diameter switch that LGB makes.
15-foot diameter. 15
foot?
change, yeah.
Yeah. So my switch is on the main line itself, crossovers and coming off of it. I've actually started swapping out my 10-foot diameter that Aristo made with these switches, and I think they're I think they're like 110, 115 a piece for them. It's actually not a terrible price. I highly recommend, if you're thinking about going with wider radiuses, to definitely think about changing your switches out as well. A big apartment with a yard.
That's what a house is.
Yeah, the only thing is I can't call the super when I have a problem.
You are the super.
Yeah. To answer your question, Jonathan, yes, I pulled that off of there. You would have noticed that if you would have paid attention when you were over this summer. That's an old picture. Looks like John says he sent you a couple of pictures, Nico.
John.
I'm going to say his name wrong. Simkovich? Say it again.
Oh, the snow. He sent 2 pictures of the snow on his layout.
Okay.
Okay.
So, starting on my quest to expand this layout, I promise I'll try to move along faster here. So, my intentions were always to extend down and turn around at the fence and come back down, kind of like a folded dog bone. And what you see laying there at the moment is what I had for a while. It was just a couple of staging tracks, which always come in handy when you have people come over, because people can change their stuff out without tying up the main line. But this is what I started with in the spring. And let's see, where's the next picture hiding at? It was right in front of me. Here we go. So I guess if I back up one picture there, this is where everything used to curve at. I had curves there that went around and reconnected. So pulling that on out of there. Let's see here. So yeah, that's a little bit different angle, but, and yes, and you can see one of my lovely pine trees there to the right that love to drop pine needles everywhere. And let's see. Here we go. So that picture's a little bit blurry, I think, but you'll find there's probably a true correct way to build a layout, but honestly, there's probably no right way, although my friend Jonathan will tell me I did it wrong. But pretty much my entire layout, I put down landscape. I killed the grass off underneath first. I put down landscape cloth, and then I believe it's number 8 limestone that I use. And I pretty much just start laying the track down. There's a lot of people, they'll dig it out, they'll put a base down. I know there's some people that'll put it on like the PVC ladder system. My way may not be the right way for most people out there, but it works for me. And I don't have too many issues with it. No, we got a question here. How did you convince your wife to let you put a layout in your backyard? Well, I'll be honest with you. I really don't know how I convinced her to let me do anything, but
How'd you convince her to marry you? That was my question.
Well, back at the time, I think I weighed about 190 pounds. I looked a lot better.
Had
You
hair.
know, had hair. You know, interesting enough, yeah, before I got married, I had hair. I think I saw a picture of you with all kinds of hair at one time, Nico.
Yeah, I used to have the flowing locks.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Jonathan's comment there. He says his wife didn't need convincing. She always knows where he is.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I guess there's worse things that we could be off doing than building a railroad in the backyard. Let's see. So yeah, that's pretty much how I started off with. And actually, if you're curious of the size, my hands, I guess, are kind of average size. So that's the larger. I think that's like I got some number 7 maybe that's mixed in there. Number 8's a little bit smaller. I know a lot of people use like crusher fines. I'm not sure what you use, Nico, when you do your layouts.
Crusher fines.
Crusher fines.
Yep. I do a trench too. I always dig like a 6-inch trench. Put the fabric inside the trench.
Yeah.
Then put it down, pack it down, and then lay the track on top of that.
So exactly the opposite of what I do. So
Yeah.
just to show you, there's multiple ways to do it.
Realistically, whatever works for you. I mean, I've seen people build all sorts of ladder systems, and then I see them pushing out of the ground. So
yeah, it's funny you said that because my friend, I think it was my friend Perry, had that issue. He did everything with the ladder system, and I think he pulled it all out this spring because every spring, and he had it anchored down in the ground. I don't know if he went down 4 feet with the posts he put down to actually hold it down, but it kept pushing up out of the ground and everything would get heaved up. So he yanked it out, but other people seem to have good luck with it. So it just depends. But yeah,
I mean, I would maintain mine like maybe twice a year, where I would go and reballast, and I never had an issue.
Yeah.
I mean, we would run year round in New Jersey, so.
When in New Jersey, do you like the New Jerseyans, right?
No. I did what I enjoyed.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's all in how you want to construct your layout. But this here is about where things kind of went a little bit haywire for me, because the original plan was never to go out and around the tree. It was to loop back around behind it. And what's that motto? Bigger is better.
Yes, always.
And it's like, why not? There's enough track piled in the shed. Let's just keep going. So I don't want that picture. That's the cat.
Just want to say great minds think alike. So
this is true. And sometimes they don't. Sorry, Kenny, my apologies. I'd like to give a shout out to Kenny. I'm going to get the name of the event wrong. I think it's in Tuckahoe. There was some type of train event this weekend, and Kenny loaded up his van and went down and set up trains to run for all the people to see and enjoy for the day. So I'd just like to give him a hand for going out, because I've done a few setups like that, and it's not, you show up, dump your train out of the box, and you're ready to go, especially when you're setting up all the track in the grass.
Yep.
But one of the things that's key, in my opinion, when you're what do we got now? Oh, Heath with his questions. Did you build the track around the tree or put the tree where you needed it to go inside the track? Huh. I'm going to have to think about that one. No, the tree was already there. He's not used to dealing with trees in New York. Transportation Heritage Day. There we go. So I was gonna say a wheelbarrow is an essential thing to have when you're. And I probably said that wrong. Wheelbarrow, and it's different. When I talk to Kenny, he says worder. I say water. I'm not sure. Which is it, Nico? You were in New Jersey.
Well, you can either say water or water.
Oh wow, even different.
Water.
Like if you talk to my mom, it's not wash, it's worsh. Apparently, worshing gets you cleaner.
It does. You have more letters.
So, if you see laying on the ground there is a dual rail bender, I'm assuming you probably have one of those in your tools or used one, Nico.
Yes, sir.
A lot of times you think about it and you think about, oh, it's just for curving, 5-6 foot lengths of track. There's actually a good bit of track on my layout that was smaller curves that I reformed and reused. On the end of my layout where I got the 16 and 14 foot diameter, the 14 foot was actually the old 10 foot diameter that I reformed. And yeah, the joints get staggered. I just shove them through the ties and clamp them together. But you can reuse a lot of your track. Now, if you're going to try and recurve 4 foot diameter curves, you're going to have a lot of joints. So I don't recommend that. But rail bender, is that how you... Yes. Despite what you may think, Heath, I was an HO scale guy, and I got some actually laying in a box in the other room. HO, N scale flex track, I think even O gauge flex track. You pretty much just bend it by hand and put it down. It doesn't really work that way with G, especially with stainless track.
Well, you got to also remember with N scale, HO, or O, when you're bending it, you're also nailing it down to a piece of wood to maintain its curve.
Yeah, this is true. Now, I attempted to bend a piece of the brass track. Unfortunately, the radius of my stomach wasn't what I was looking for. So off to the dual rail bender we go. But when you're trying to lay track in a non-standard kind of area, sometimes, most of the time, you're going to have to tweak some stuff, and the rail bender is a lifesaver. I can't remember. I didn't buy that one. That belongs to my friend, but I think it's a couple $100 for one of those, isn't it, Nico?
Yeah, 200-ish.
But if you're building a layout or have a layout you're planning on expanding, in any quantity, I'd recommend getting one, or maybe you and a couple of your friends can go together and buy one and you can share it.
Yeah, that's another option. But it depends. I've used mine so many times now. I just wanted my own.
Yes. Yeah, when I tried to bend around my stomach, yeah, Jonathan's got it right. Yeah, too big of a radius. I should have. I don't know. What do you want me to call you, John? I don't like to call people names. That's not nice. Yes, Chuck Lardy. Rail clamps all the way around. I have quite the assortment of rail clamps, to be honest with you. Since the majority of my track is used, you tend to acquire different clamps with everything. Obviously, I do have. I don't know if that shows up very well on the camera or not.
Split jaw.
Yeah, these are split jaws that are on there. I've got split jaws on there. I've got, I think, Hillman clamps. I don't know if I have any of the Aristo. I don't think I have any of the Aristo ones on there. The Aristo were those ones that were like the plate with the screws down from the top, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't have any of those, but yeah, I have clamps on everything. And believe it or not, over at the shed is where my power connection's at. I have a feed to each one of the mains there. I don't have any feeders run around the layout to the other end. It's all clamped up good and tight. I don't have any issues. Obviously,
I always did the four feed thing. I ran one wire out to the middle, and then from there I split and attached to 4 points on each loop.
I could see that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having more feeds, and obviously you're helping yourself out. I mean, I've debated about just running one to the far end of my layout, but I never thought about how you do it, running it to the middle and then going out from that point. That's actually a lot better idea. So as I was saying before, with expansions, gravel, more gravel. I think my friend Mr. Wheelbarrow and I rolled about 3.5 tons of gravel to the backyard this summer, and my back definitely felt it. Do you need to use special outdoor wire?
What did you use?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm always honest. Why am I saying that? I always wonder about that. You say, "Oh, let me be honest with you." It implies you're never not being honest before. What I use to make my connection, and so I could easily unhook my transformer. I have a Harbor Freight that's nearby, and they sell, I don't know if it's like a 4-foot or 6-foot 4-pin trailer plug extension line. As I bought one of those, I cut it in the middle to flip it around. I hooked one end up to the transformer and then the other ends to the track. And that way then I can just use that insulated trailer plug because it's all nice and sealed up. Figure the wires for a trailer plug are used to being outside in the open anyhow. And that's how I wired it up. And I know a lot of people, I see Brian Brunn listed there, landscape wire. I know I've seen a lot of people use that.
That's what I use.
Of course, that's what Kyle used. Jonathan recommends it, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. He runs battery. I'm just kidding. I mean, he does run battery. He does know what he's talking about. I just like to give him a hard time.
The thing, it's made for low voltage. It's, it can carry the amperage that you're looking for, and it's made to be direct burial. So it has UV protectant in it. So it kind of covers all your bases for long-term use.
Short of an apocalypse, it should hold up. Let's see.
Pretty much.
So just kind of a close-up. This is the number 8 limestone I'm using, and everything's kind of gray looking because I just put it down, but it is a little bit larger than, if you're going for that scale appearance.
That's why I like the crusher fines.
Yeah. It works for me, though. I mean, do you have any issues with the crusher fines washing away, Nico?
I mean, yeah, over time they do, but
not like, you get one rain and it all washes out. Right?
No, I mean, like I said, I used to ballast my track twice a year. Once in the early spring after all the snow, and just to re-level all the track and fix any issues. And then I was always the one that did for the club. I usually did the October meeting. And we usually had a night run where we ran closer to night. So I always did a reballast right before that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to skip up here a little bit. If anybody has any specific questions about what I did with my layout, just drop them in there. But I don't want to spend all night on me. So
let's never mind.
Oh, I'm not going to tell you what to say. But no.
Enough about me. Let's talk about me.
Yeah, let's talk some more about me. No, this is about where the layout was sitting at when Nico and Vincent came up to visit. You had no issues running when you were here, did you, Nico?
Nope. The only issue we had is we lost the car on the way home.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the automobile type of car.
Yes.
I had nothing to do with that. But I'm very glad you guys were okay.
And my back's still not great, but we're getting there.
Public service announcement. Put your phones down when you're driving. Pay attention to the road. You never know. You could end up running into Nico in a bad way. We don't want that. So the one last final thing I did to the layout after Nico was here is I realized I very much missed my staging yard. So the last piece of the backyard I decided to take up was along the back side of the house here. And I followed the same method I did with the other. I killed the grass and I put down landscaping cloth and I started moving along. And for the most part, it worked out really well. This was kind of made up of a hodgepodge of whatever track I had left. So there's some pieces in there that have screw joiners in them, and it is what it is. If you ever have your friend Steve from Canada come down to visit, you might find your rail yard full of Canadian rolling stock as well. But I'm pretty happy with how everything came out in the end with my layout. I really can't complain about it. I was looking to see if I had one photo that kind of showed how everything ended up. Before, after.
You do one of those panographic photos.
Yeah, I have one here, and I'm trying to think what folder I stuck it in. Oh, that ain't it. John says, Andrew, you need a siding going into your basement. John, you missed the part where I said I don't have a basement.
He's saying you need to build a basement.
Oh,
and then you could have a siding going into it. That's
if I had a basement,
keep up.
I tell you 100%. I'd have a track going through the basement window and going inside to like a hanging elevated staging yard. Although I do have plans to run a track in through the sidewall behind me here to run some stuff in. That did not come to fruition this summer. Though expanding the layout kind of took a little bit more time than I was expecting. You know, you start getting older and you don't quite move around as well as you used to, and things take longer. Let's see.
They make shovels. You could dig your basement.
This is true.
My old house had that, where the train went right into the basement.
That is correct. Yeah, I forgot you had that.
Yep, because the window was right about waist height.
So unfortunately, this picture is missing the staging yard, but this is a panographic. Panographic, is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
You can kind of see the whole layout, how it wraps back around the back, curves, goes around my shed and back. If you see my mouse pointer moving there, this over here is where the staging yard came to be. I switched off of that one track right there and came in. Like I said, I'm extremely happy with how it came out. I was able to have quite a few different people come over this summer. Of course, Nico and Vincent, Dave and TJ Weber were over.
Yep.
That's how I ended up with an 89-foot flat car. Now I probably need a couple more, so I don't look weird running just one car. And I had quite a few other people over. Obviously, yeah. Thank you, Jonathan. Panoramic, yeah. So. All right, I'll stop talking about me and we'll talk about Nico.
Well, I was going to say, it's already 8 o'clock. Do you want to, since my layout really isn't much to look at yet, it's just a bunch of pictures of ground, want to skip right over to the 3D printing?
Sure. You want to start it off?
Sure. So do you want me to go over, we'll go right to SolidWorks?
Yeah.
So we had a request for landing gear for a truck. So
specifically the USA Trains.
Yep. So USA Trains comes with that little the wheels that plug right into the bottom of the truck right here. Right there. So somebody was asking about 3D printing new landing gear for this, something that's a little more modern for these trucks.
and that tends to break off. I've got a whole pile of those back there, but those are snapped off.
Yep. So I guess that's probably part of the reason they want to update them something different, and they're snapped off anyway, so they want to do something else. So let's see, share my screen, right? Share.
Oh, this is where we crash.
Yep, this is where everything goes bad. Share. Why are you going share? Oh, you know what? I still have this open. That's probably why.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. All right. I don't know if this is what I want to do here, but let's see. We want to share. No, we don't want to share that.
No, Max, you're calling. Sorry.
Share.
Whoa.
No, come on. It's not opening. It's thinking about opening. Give me a second.
Well, right now I'm looking at the StreamYard screen. Is that what you wanted to share?
No.
Oh, you're
I'm
waiting for
trying to
SolidWorks to open.
I'm not trying to get SolidWorks to open. There we go. Can you see SolidWorks or no?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Nico got sent the wrong cable for his second monitor, so he's flying blind right now.
Okay. So I work in SolidWorks. I'm an engineer. This is what I do day to day is when I'm designing stuff. So basically what I did, I already took a couple measurements of the center to center on the posts. So I created two planes. So this plane here and this plane here are the center points of those two posts that go into the bottom of the truck. So basically what you have is the 2 points. So these are what's going to actually go inside of those cavities inside the truck. I created another plane. Now, from this point to this point is the height of the wheel that came with the original USA Trains truck. I didn't go through this to model everything now because I figured it'd be actually quicker to go through it. But if anybody has questions, I can open something up and show you how I drew it or anything like that. So now I created two square columns coming down to simulate the truck. And so if you look at the original ones, they have a collar going around the base, which is just to give additional strength. So now there you go. You have the extension. So this would be the part that would travel in and out of the upper column. And if we went into more detail, we could add the crank on there, which would show you how that goes up and down. So now I'm starting to create the pivoting feet. So on the bottom, there has a plate that pivots that, rides on the ground. So if the ground's a little uneven, everything sits nicely. Again, now I created the pivot pin. And then I started just mirroring this part across so you could see it popped up on the other side. And the other side, the other side. And now I'm going to create the plate on the bottom. So there you go. You got the skid plate. So again, there's tons of different types of these. Some of them are bent up all the way around. Some of them are, just like a sled like this. And then we're going to mirror that to the other side. So we could just make the two posts like this, which would go in and out of the post holes in the bottom of the truck. But looking at some pictures, there are different types. So this is where you can kind of get creative in 3D modeling and start creating different types. So what I did here is I added a bar. There we go. And for a little more interest, I added 2 support beams. There you go. So now there you go. You have something that's a little more supported. So with 3D modeling, also what that gives you is the ability to start making different iterations and different looks for things. So now if I want to go back, I can actually select these 3 items and suppress them so they disappear. And now I can actually open those 2 items. And now I have a totally different looking truck base just by switching those items. So I don't know if anybody has any questions.
I'm not seeing anything at the second, Nico.
Okay. Am I boring everybody? Is that what's going on? Or?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So again, now I can toggle between these 2. So if I want to shut that off, and then I can go back to this one. So now I have 2 models essentially, actually 3 models essentially in one of 3 different types of items that I could print for the base of these trucks. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I'm still waiting for you to send me the link so I can start using SolidWorks.
I will send that to you.
Nico's only been telling me for 2 months, but that doesn't equal out to
3 years of
3 years. I see as you were showing that Big Bag mentioned that he's getting a FlashForge Adventure 4 printer next month.
Nice.
It's always nice to see more people getting into the printing.
Yep. The printing isn't the hard part to me. The hard part is generating the models. That's what really takes.
Well, that's what Colin was just asking her, how long it took you to draw that up, actually.
That was about 20 minutes. But again, I do this for a living.
Let's see. Looks like, that's right. I forgot Brian Brunn. He ended up getting a Photon Mono.
I have the Mono S, and I have a artillery sidewinder. So I have FDM printer and the resin printer.
That printer sounds dangerous. Like, it's going to be a Terminator one day.
The artillery?
Yeah.
Well, when I got it, it was actually a gift from a friend of mine. And I see a box that says artillery on it. And this friend does a lot of shooting and guns. So I didn't know what to make of it at first.
Jeez.
What is he sending me? For those that know, the generator model on the truck took 2 hours to draw. I don't know what.
I'm not sure. Brian may have made a post on that I haven't seen in one of the groups.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's my my friend Michael. Yeah, he's got the Ender 3 Pro and the Photon Mono.
Oh, caboose trucks.
Yes, I've got some of those laying here somewhere.
It's probably on top of the freight lowering kits.
No,
U25B lowering kit, and then there's the trucks on top. Is that the?
No, that would make too much sense. I want to put the smaller stuff at the bottom so the whole thing falls over.
Gotcha.
No, I know what Brian's talking about now. He's doing the caboose trucks, but he's actually adding the detail on for like the generator pulley and all that stuff for.
All right. Okay.
And he's actually doing a really nice job with that.
Yeah, it can take a lot of hours to create models. I mean, some are fairly intricate, and you're doing a lot of cutting and slicing and extruding and surfacing, and it can get time consuming depending on how much detail you're adding, and there's tons you can do. The sky is the limit.
So did we want to do, I know we were going to do a couple giveaways on this show. Did we want to go ahead and
so that was the one Anybody that's interested in those trucks, you have 3 choices.
Trucks? You mean the for the trailers, right?
For the trailer, yeah. Sorry. The landing gear for the trailer. Pardon me. We will give away. Just let me know which one you want, and I will 3D print them and mail them to you.
All right, let's see here. I'll get this going. I got a private message from one of the viewers. It's an issue. I don't know why it pops up every now and then. The channel for the live chat is set to subscriber only for chat. And mainly it's to keep the spam stuff out. Because if not, I would be battling things that should not be in the chat from spammers. But if you're in the live chat and it's telling you subscriber mode only and you've been a subscriber for some time, what you need to do is actually unsubscribe and then hit subscribe again and give it about a minute. And then you should be good to go. Because anybody that's new to watching the show, the way that the giveaway works is you need to comment in the live chat with the hashtag that we come up with. However, if you're watching on YouTube and you're having issues with getting in, like I said, you can unsubscribe, resubscribe, and it should fix it. But this is also live streaming on the MrPictovid YouTube channel, or obviously on the MrPictovid YouTube channel, but also on the Facebook page for it as well. So if you can't get in for some reason on YouTube and you're also on Facebook, you can hop over there. But yeah, if it's saying subscriber only and you're a subscriber, unsubscribe, resubscribe. It'll probably take me a moment here to set this up. So if anyone wants to do that, please do so. And I apologize. I don't know why I have that issue. Yeah.
It's a glitch.
Didn't you have that issue? Is that how you got robbed at one time?
Yeah, that's always. I'm always robbed.
We should have named you Rob.
Yeah.
Hey, so tell me, what's our hashtag going to be for this, Nico?
Whatever you like.
All right.
Hashtag landing gear.
Okay. Let's see. Don't start entering it yet because I haven't started it yet. Bill Lynch, it should have been hashtag I've been robbed.
Yep. Let's rob Nico. There you go.
Well, it's nice to know. I see Brian Brunn said that that glitch is universal to YouTube. I'm glad it's just not me having that issue then.
Oh, it's you.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
So, again, you're going to have to email me after you won and let me know your address and which version you want.
Or email Nico after you get robbed to tell him how you feel about it.
Yes. That as well.
All right. Let's see.
So while you're doing that and getting that set up, I'll jump to more 3D printing.
Okay.
I don't know. Can you see that? Nope. Didn't pop up yet, did it?
No, I do not see anything. All right, so I'm going to throw this other banner up here.
So select the tab to share. I select the tab to share, and it's not letting me share it.
Oh, you got a problem with sharing? Yeah, did you have to sit in a corner as a kid because you didn't play well?
I did.
All right, so
there we go.
I have that up to collect. Oh, there we go. So I do have that up now. We'll let that run for. Not sure what just fell off my desk, but we'll let that run for say let's say 5-10 minutes here.
Yeah.
So remember, it has to be all together one word like you see it. Hashtag landing gear, and go ahead and enter that in the chat now as we continue on here. And like 5-10 minutes, we'll stop and we'll do a drawing on it to see who the lucky winner is.
So one of the first times I was down, right when I moved down to Virginia, I came across, we were in Ashland, and we saw this Thai car go by, which I thought was interesting. And also, did I go too far? Yeah, I'm messing up here. Okay. So I thought I would build a model of it. So what started out as a picture of a train going by, I started modeling it. So what I did is, this is 2 aristo-craft gondolas, which are cut.
Can you zoom in on that a little bit, Nico?
Sure, I think I can. Maybe.
There you go. That's better.
Okay, so this is 2 aristo-craft gondolas, and then you could see I have the cage on top, which is all 3D printed. So this is 2 of the same cages. Basically, there's 4 pieces because of the printer bed size. I had to cut it, and I was mimicking this car. So this was my first foray into weathering, as well as making one of these extended cars, and it was a fun project so far. So here you could see this was right after I painted it and glued the 3D printed on top, and I started doing the weathering. All the stencils are painted on, which I'll show you in a little bit. I don't do decals so much. I paint stuff on. So I'll show you in a little bit how that's done. Here you go. So this is, you can see the yellow here is the actual stencil, which I cut on a vinyl cutter, and then mask it all out. And then I'm able to paint it on. Now you see it's all masked, both sides. There's my spray painting box. And now you can see after I painted the car, here it is fully painted, and and then I stripped off the masking, and that's what you're left with. And then those are the ties I cut for the inside of the car. So if I come back here, so
I see. I got the chat on YouTube and StreamYard. There it is. I see Wigwag said he uses a Cameo 4 vinyl cutter for stencils.
Yep, I use a Roland.
Roland?
So, yep. Like the keyboard.
Ah.
So,
wow, that's pretty nice looking.
Yep, so here's the ties. There's ties inside of the car. You even have these ramps on the end are for the tractor that rides up, which I'm in the midst of building that car as well. So that car has a ramp in it, which ramps up the tractor, so the tractor can run on top of the ties and grab the ties and drop them on either side of the track. So, and even these work too. Wait, let's see if they. There you go.
Oh, sweet.
So as they would stack the ties higher, they have a bar to hold them so they don't shift off the car.
Have you ever tried what Manimal's mentioning here? He says he uses blue painter's tape to cut stencils on a Cricut.
No, I mean, I just used the vinyl. The vinyl's cheap enough that it's made for it. It works perfect.
I see.
To do it.
Yeah, I see Mikey does that as well.
Yep.
I kind of have a feeling that my one of my future purchases is probably going to be a cutter. Ooh, that's got my interest. What do we got going on there?
This is the other car that goes with it. So this would actually have a ramp in front of the.
So it can drive up on it, you mean?
Yeah. And this would drive up over, and then onto the ties, and then it could dump the ties. So
is that actually RC?
No. But I also did print the claw.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Because I haven't seen one with the claw under. That came out pretty nice.
So now I could take and that's how they would dump the ties on the side of the track.
Oh.
So yeah, so this is one of those cheap plastic ones that you buy. I mean, I got this off of somebody on Market. What is it? G-Scale Swap and Shop or whatever. I did have to. It is thinned.
Thinned? Oh, you had to narrow the tracks on it?
Yeah, because it wouldn't fit into the car. So I don't know if you could really see it underneath there, but I cut it and re-glued it back together.
Hey, it works, right?
So it could fit inside of the car.
I see Wigwag mentioned something here that I wasn't aware of that could probably waver me one way or the other. Was he didn't like the Cricut because you have to be online apparently to use it. That's why he went with the Cameo 4. Huh. Were you aware of that, Nico?
Well, I have the Roland, which you have your own software. So
yeah, I don't know that I would like having to be online to use it.
Well, the SolidWorks that I have right now works the same way. You got to go online to.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing around with Tinkercad, and it's the same way. You have to be online. I know Tinkercad's a bad word to you. Did you have anything else on the tie car you were going to talk about, Nico?
No, that was it. I mean, I still got to make the ramps. I'll be bringing those to Robbie's if anybody wants to see them.
Sweet.
So well, I know you've been working on some.
I have, but I think it's probably a good time to stop and run the.
Oh, sure.
The giveaway on this. So let's see here. Well, see now, Rachel's saying you can use the Cricut offline as well. Nice.
Well, I know with SolidWorks too. They give you the choice of having it on your computer or off. So, I mean, there's benefits to both because you're not running the software actually on your computer.
Where'd the question go? There we go. John wanted to know what kind of glue you used.
Glue for what? Oh, to put the top parts on?
Well, that and when you can say you glued the excavator back together when you narrowed it.
Bondine, I think it is.
Is it just a CA glue or
it's a solvent glue? It melts the plastic.
Okay. That has like that, what do they call it? Mech, like methyl something hydride.
They sell it, for like the Plastruct kits.
Oh, hey, there we go. That's better. All right. So we know Nico's going to get robbed because he's not allowed to be in the drawing already. So
no, I can print my own at this point. So it doesn't.
Actually, let me stop that banner. And I'll give it a second here before I start so I don't have anyone that hops in the last minute because I know that there's a little bit of a lag there. Yeah. What Wigwag said, mech. And Brian Brun's got the proper name there.
Yeah, they sell it as a Bondine. It comes in a glass jar. They sell it at hobby shops. It's an orange label. But I'm sure you could get it. You could get other stuff as well.
Well, let's see who it's going to be. Dominic, and if I say the last name wrong, I apologize. Miletta.
The third
is our winner. So, do you want them to email you directly, Nico?
Yes, 4trackrr@gmail, and let me know which version you want, and send me your address, and I will get those 3D printed out and sent out to you.
Yeah. So, yep, there's the email at the bottom, Dominic. Just shoot Nico an email. Let him know. And here in a little bit, towards the end of the show, we'll have another giveaway coming up. So if you want to win something, still stick around. I think we'll have something to give away from our sponsor, Splitjaw, actually. So let's see. Let's drop that out of there.
You want to talk about some of the 3D printing you've been doing?
Oh, geez. Yeah, I've had all kinds of fun. This summer, I started what I'd like to call the list of things Dan Gilchrist made me buy. He didn't actually make me buy anything, but he seemed to inspire me to spend money. The printer that's sitting behind me is not the one that sat in the box for probably a year before I put it together. That's sitting over here to the side, because I had a car that I specifically wanted in G scale for a while. Was a Pennsylvania Railroad prototype. It was a G39 ore car. And I started off, I found files for an N scale one that I was going to upscale. And somewhere in the process of asking Dan questions on it, he got all excited about it. And I think he like took a nap and woke up and had the whole thing designed, is how it seems like it works. Like, I don't know how Dan works so fast, but I'll start off with, I'll show you the, where'd my sheet go to? Come on, open up. So a lot of you are probably familiar with Thingiverse, which is where a lot of Dan's files are. He's actually started moving over to a different site now. Joseph Lipinski, Dan doesn't sleep. Yeah, I'm starting to kind of get that impression, Joseph. Yeah, Dan, there he is. There, I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, Dan. You're an asset to the hobby, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. So, this is actually the printables page, where you can go and download all the files to print this fine model that Dan designed up. Now, there are multiple pieces to this. And the one that I blame Dan for why I bought the other printer, while I'm digging around in my box of assorted pieces here.
Oh my God. What are you doing?
I'm digging from China, apparently. So let me drop that out of there for a minute. So on the Ender 3, no, I don't want Nico bigger. The table on it, the table on the Ender 3 is not big enough to print that car body as one piece. And by car body, I mean the actual outside of the car, not the floor or anything. So on the Ender 3, you end up printing it in two pieces. Kind of sits on the table like that, and when you're done, you have to actually glue it together. But I was running into some issues with printing it as two pieces. One of my issues, I know you're not going to see it on the camera very well, but I actually have some curvature. So when these two pieces made up, like they're supposed to, and I actually did have this all glued together, but it popped back apart on me earlier today. But if you look close enough, you can kind of see there's a step there. And that's because this piece of the print started lifting off the bed as I was printing. I later on found out, again from I found out later on from Dan, when I was having that issue, he asked, do you have any hairspray? And I said, I don't recall the last time I used any. I'm like, he's like, no. He's like, does your wife have any? I'm like, oh, probably. So he told me to get some of the 4X Mega Hold unscented, which happen to have a bottle of it in there. And before I start printing these larger prints now, I always put a nice spritz of that on the bed, and it solved quite a bit of my issues with the parts lifting up. But so to get back around what I was saying, I upgraded the printer behind me is actually an Ender 3 Max. And that actually allows me to print this body as one piece like you see it here. That shining you're seeing, there's a piece of plexiglass in there. That's not part of the print, but I'm actually able to print this as one piece, so I don't have, there's no seams in there, nothing glued. And I think it's overall going to be a lot more durable. Now, the print does not actually include a floor in it, but I believe it's 1/8 inch. I think Dan was using styrene. I've got a place near me that gets all kinds of odd pieces of stuff in. I think this is like 1/8 inch Lexan that I cut and fit in there. But let's see. There's actually quite a few parts to go to this, but the part I was actually the most impressed with was printing the skeleton frame for the bottom. This is probably the part I had the least amount of issues with. This printed as one piece with the air tank in there and whatever that piece is. But flat on the bed like that printed as one piece. I had very minimal stringing. It came out really well. Now, I don't have mine built yet because I started running into some issues with printing. I decided to do an upgrade to my printer that I thought would solve another issue I was having. And it caused me different issues. And then I spent about a week and a half fighting with it. But I have about a dozen of the components printed to actually start putting these together. But since, Nico has a son that loves playing with 3D printing as well, he's actually got one that's fully assembled already, which I'm sure Nico will gladly show us. And there you have it. Nico doing the Vanna White thing there. Like, you tell Vincent he needs to start cutting me some decals now.
For what? What are you going to put them on?
Oh, this is true. He's got plenty of time to start working on it.
I mean, you're going to have a pile of cars there, to go with the lowering kits and.
Yeah, but essentially, I mean, the only thing that you have to buy, unless you want to try and print them, is the trucks, the wheels, and the floor for the car.
I don't know why you would print that. It's just a flat piece.
I thought about doing it, and then that piece of plastic I had, I think it was like 85 cents I paid for that piece of plastic. So, why bother with it, right?
Yeah, styrene's pretty cheap as well.
Exactly, Dan. Vincent definitely is. And I think was Vincent the one that discovered that there needed to be a spacer plate that went in there if you used the USA like the standard freight trucks on it to sat a little bit too low?
Probably, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know who else has printed one besides you, Dan, and Vincent.
I think there's been at least one other person that was printing. But yeah, if you go to printables.com and
very nice work.
As you see his comment pinned up there at the bottom, leave the 22 off. If you just search Manimal on printables, you will very quickly find this, and all of the files there. And the pictures you're seeing here, this is the one that Dan built himself. And again, I'm pretty sure he just had a lucid dream and this thing materialized already built. I don't know how he works so fast. Yeah, of course, you do have to buy couplers unless you want to print those. Strangely enough, I have seen files for printing your own couplers. But hopefully, at some point, I will actually have some assembled cars. Let's see here. What else did we have on the list, Nico?
Before or after Dan's dead?
Dan's not allowed to die.
No.
He's too essential. We'll just have to hook him up like Frankenstein's monster and get him going again. Dan says he's had 33 downloads on that file already. Let's see. Oh, I was going to show if I can find it here.
A bumper.
Yeah, I got to look for that yet. But what I was going to show, now you said that and you made my mind skip a beat. What was I going to show?
I thought I made your heart skip a beat.
I'd have to have a heart first. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. I wanted to show the tank car that, and I may have shown this on the show last year. I don't know if Dan's moved this one. He's not holding our breath. Yeah, don't do that, John. I don't want to see you like turn red and blue and then pass out. That could be bad. So I don't know if Dan's, I know he's moved a lot of his files over to printables. I don't know if this one's made it through yet or not, but if you go to Thingiverse and same way, search for Manimal, you'll find his tank car. Now, at some point, I'd like to start printing some of these. But thankfully, my friend Michael, boy, I'm going to say it wrong again. Michael Bulach has actually printed several of these, and he was nice enough to send me photos of them as soon as I find them. Let's see, tank car. There we go.
We got to ask Dan about the ends of those cars.
The ends of the cars.
If they work for USA Trains.
Oh, yeah, that is a good question. If you're still hanging around there, Dan, the USA Trains, I know those can get broke or they get like that zinc rot going where the end platforms deteriorate. Will those work as a replacement for the USA ones, Dan, if you're still watching? Wrong 2 times. I'm sorry, Michael. I wrote it down and everything. I try my best not to butcher names. I tried to leave that for Sean, but he's not here to take the fall anymore. So these are the pictures that Michael sent.
So maybe it wasn't Sean the whole time.
Hey, let's not start that now. Neither one of us got Kyle's last name wrong. We kept saying Kyle Keeper for the longest time. It's Kuiper.
Yeah.
So let's see. What's Dan say here? Odd thing. Every time I migrate a batch of files to printables, the downloads at Thingiverse go up. Huh. And Dan says as far as the USA Trains tank car, he doesn't know, as he doesn't have a USA Trains tank car.
Yeah.
There we go. Michael's better half telling me how to say it properly. I'll get it right one day. So, as you see in the photo here, I believe this is, it's an Ender 3 that Michael has as well that he was printing on. Just curious, looking at the picture, Michael, when you were printing, did you specifically want to do rafts when you were printing this? Like, were you having issues with the parts raising up? I'm just curious when I go to do one of these if I should use, or not rafts, that's a brim rather, correct? Nico?
Brim? Yeah.
Yeah. Curious if you need the brim on it or not. Back to the other thing, Dan says he thinks someone mentioned using a slightly modified end successfully with the USA one.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
I have one that I got to make one for anyway, so.
But I don't know how many of these. I don't know how many of these that Michael actually made, but I actually, I tried to walk away with the one he made when I saw him earlier in the year. I kept trying to tell him that it was the raffle item I won, but he wasn't buying it. Mm-hmm. But the prints for him actually came out exceptionally well. And I believe it's, okay. Michael says he no longer uses the brim, so that was just the first time he printed it.
Okay. I've had to do that with small parts to help them stick.
Well, and honestly, I don't know how Vincent did on yours, but on these, when I'm printing them, and in addition to the hairspray, I do put a brim on these as well to help hold them down. Yeah. Just because this takes me 18 hours to print, and it really sucks to get 8 hours in and I see it starting to lift off the bed. But it seemed like everything printed really well for Michael on this. And I don't know. I don't have any USA tank cars. If I had one, I'd be curious to see if it lines up.
Well, like I said, I want to fix mine, and I don't have the part, so I will maybe grab one of Dan's there and print it and see how it works out. And if not, I'm gonna make one myself.
Yeah. Now, one thing to mention, you'll notice in this picture, on most of Dan's stuff, he he doesn't actually print the what do you want to call that, the truck pin?
Yep.
The truck pivots on. Dan usually opts for.
Is that a PEM stud?
I'm not sure what that is.
That's what it looks
But
like.
Dan usually uses, why is the word escaping me? Like a piece of, I don't think it's like ABS, but he gets some sort of round plastic that he uses. But
That looks like aluminum. That doesn't look like plastic.
well, I know that's not. I agree with you 100% on that. But the thing that I really liked, Nico's ingenious son that he has, all of us, if you've switched over, let me drop that out of there for a minute. If you switched over to, oh, that was scary, to metal wheels, you probably have a whole bin if you haven't thrown away at plastic wheels. And Vincent was actually able to figure out if you pull the metal axle out of these and cut this off, you have to open up the hole a little bit in the bottom of the part, but you can cut this off and glue it in there and use that for your truck pin and screw right into that. So I've got a whole bag of these. That's actually pretty ingenious in my mind. I mean, I'm sure he gets it all from Nico, but you know.
That one's on his own.
So, all right. But back to that. Yeah, I thought, you know, all the parts came out really well. And I'm trying to remember, and I believe it says on Thingiverse, but I think it's like, is it 4-inch? Was it 4-inch Schedule 40 you had to use for that, Michael, or was it smaller than that? Oh, okay. Michael says he used aluminum, center drilled and tapped with his lathe.
Yep.
Stop being an overachiever, Michael. Oh, there we go. Dan said he uses nylon or ABS.
6mm rod.
6mm rod.
I was going to say PEM. There's a company called PEM Inserts. They make all sorts of different length threaded inserts that we use for sheet metal, things of that nature. And you could probably find one close that would just drop right in there.
Oh, okay. Let's see. So I'm looking for the next picture here I was going to put up there. Oh, there it is.
We're rounding the 9 o'clock hour here.
All right. I'm speeding it up. So we'll hop up here to.
That one was 3-inch, he said.
3-inch?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll hop up to where Michael started painting that. And it's really, you know, really kind of started coming together at that point. Now, one thing to mention, when Dan drew this up, I'm going to forget the proper designation for the coupler type, but Dan had drawn it up to use the 1 gauge KD couplers. So when Michael went to put couplers on it using 906 or 907, if you look at the height gauge, he found out that it was actually a little bit too low. So you'll notice that if you look at some of the pictures, Michael actually put the LGB trucks underneath of it, which raised it up some. But if you go to Dan's original files for this on Thingiverse, Michael did a remix of it and actually has a different version of the bolsters up there, or the end pieces that are actually changed to be able to use the larger couplers. One thing I wanted to show was Dan actually went the extra mile when he did this, and he even includes some prints in there to make a form for bending the wires for around the top of the tank car. And nice. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought to do that. So yeah, he actually took the time to draw all that up to be able to bend them. And I believe, let's see. Yeah, I believe that's so what, three different lengths of the USA tank cars. I believe that's like the medium sized one.
42 foot, 43 foot.
42.
Yep.
Let's see. Yep. Okay, Michael. So yeah, that one was 3-inch. So that's one of the tank cars that you can download and print from the Thingiverse, which, like I said, it might be over to printables now that Dan has up there. But using 3-inch PVC pipe, you got to buy the pipe, you got to buy some wire, trucks, some couplers,
3D printer.
a 3D printer. And mind you, you can get a 3D printer for a pretty reasonable price anymore. I mean, I think the regular selling price on an Ender 3 is under $200 anymore. And you can even find them on sale. I think like Micro Center runs a deal at times where if you're a new customer, I think you can get it for like $100. But yeah, I think Michael said he's working on the next size up pipe. I mean, so they're, it's not really expensive to do it. I mean, it takes time. I mean, I think the G39, I think material cost from the printer itself is like under $10, if I remember correctly, on what the numbers gave back to me. Let's see. Michael says that picture is the 3-inch next to the modern USA tank car. So, yeah. So yeah, go to Thingiverse, search Manimal, and well, you'll find a lot of things from Manimal on there, but you'll also find that tank car once you scroll through them. All right. So what else did we have to move on to, Nico?
You want to do the second giveaway?
We can do that. What did we have that we were going to do? Did we have... I don't want to say the wrong thing here. So give me 1 second, or more than 1 second, because it's going to take me longer than that. I don't want to give away Split Jaw's company and find out that wasn't on the table.
Yep.
Let's see.
I'm just going to show one thing while you're
Sure
seeing here. So let's see if this works again. I'm probably going to put us into a...
Uh-oh.
I'm going to go back to SolidWorks here.
I feel like I'm in the Matrix all of a sudden.
No, I'm trying to get SolidWorks to pop back up.
There we go. So
There we go.
Real quick for this next giveaway,
Go ahead.
we're actually going to do a 12-pack of brass rail clamps from Split Jaw. And looking at this, you can have your choice. They can either be direct to rail, or they can be the ones that go over top the joiners, but it's a 12-pack of them. So let's see here. You go ahead and do your thing there, Nico. I'll start working on getting the giveaways set up.
So another thing I worked on, I got a Mikado, which I already have one, and I just didn't want the same engine again. So I took the pilot off of a Pacific, but knowing that Pacific has larger drivers, Mikado has smaller drivers. When I tried to put it on, I had a lot of issues with the spring. The spring compression was like all the way compressed. So I took the aristo-craft part and modified it, which on the aristo-craft part, it's more like this, where this is sticking up and the spring sits on top. So I kind of reverse engineered it and made it have an indent. So now the spring can sit inside. What that enables me to do is put the pilot on, and now the spring works. There's still some slight cutting you need to do to the front of the Mikado, because, I mean, the Mikado and the Pacific basically are the same chassis, but obviously with the bigger drivers, the whole chassis is lifted up a little higher. So you have to do a little cutting, but I was able to squeeze this onto the the Mikado. So now I have a 482 instead of a 282.
Real quick, I do have it set up to start collecting for the giveaway. It's why do I got? It's only one hashtag. I got trigger happy. Hang on a second. It's hashtag split jaw, all one word, to enter the giveaway for a 12-pack of code 332 clamps. Again, it is your choice. Let us know if you're looking for the direct to rail or over the joiners if you end up being the winner.
I still don't know why people use. I mean, I know it works, but I always just pulled the joiners off. And
I have some, and they came with a bunch of other stuff I got, and I used them in a couple of sidings when I ran out of direct to rail.
yeah,
Since they were just sidings, I used the joiners and threw those over top of them so I could make it work for the time. But I agree, it's much better to put it directly to the rail.
yep.
Let's see here. Did you have something else there still, Nico, or no?
The only other thing I was going to do, so with that same engine, I'm going to continue modifying it. So it's going to become, I'll get pictures for the next show. So it's going to start out, it's a 482. I'm going to do a rear truck to make it a 484. So I'm going to design and 3D print the rear truck. And then the last thing I'm going to do, I've already purchased a couple tenders. That's not what I want to do. I almost left the studio.
Hey, don't leave me hanging.
Let's see if I can go back to that one. Yep. I see. I got to go back a couple pages here. Was it on this one? Nope, I didn't put it on that one. Hold on. I got to find where I put it.
Well, if you're going to be a second there, I have something else I can show while you're looking there.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So one of the other things I wanted to mention with 3D printing stuff, and I'm not sure where the one I had it was laying in front of me went now, is you can also use it to create tools that'll help you. And I never even thought about this. Again, this was on that list of things that Dan made me do. Nothing is perfectly smooth, at least unless you're doing resin printing. There's a little bit of finishing that has to be done. And these mini sanding blocks, this isn't one that Dan did, but if you go to Thingiverse and search mini sanding block, you should find this one by T.S. Walter. It's pretty simple to print, and it's really, really nice, because I probably would have been sitting here with a flat file with a piece of emery paper over the end trying to file. And I'll probably be printing another one because I don't know where the heck the one I printed went to. It's laying in front of me. See, this is what happens, folks, when you clean your desk off. Things go missing. It's probably what I heard fall on the floor earlier. But in my opinion, it's really simple. It's two pieces. Let's see. Yeah, I can show you this. It's one thing I do like about on Thingiverse is being able to scroll around. So it's really just these two pieces, and I think it says in the instructions you need to buy 2 nuts and bolts. And I just used, I believe it was again on the list of things that Dan made me do. DAP Rapid Fuse is what I ended up buying. I put some of that on the nuts and dropped them down in the hexes that hold them, because you don't have to crank down like you're bolting a piece of machinery down. It's just to tighten it down to sandwich that sandpaper in there, but that makes a world of difference versus trying to find some hodgepodge way to sand in there. And I did end up, when I printed mine, I pulled these files into Tinkercad, and I actually just shortened it so it would fit between the ribs on the car, because this one's actually a little wide. But I plan obviously to print another one to replace the one I can't find, but to print a couple of them so I can have a couple different grades of emery paper on them. I like that. Dan made Andrew do, then Andrew made me do. Yeah, that's kind of how it works. It starts with Dan, and then everybody else ends up doing all this stuff. But again, I commend Dan. He designs not these, but that G39 ore car, the tank car, all the other stuff he has up there. He designs it and sticks it up on Thingiverse for anybody to download and use. It's not something he has to do. He enjoys doing it. So I commend him for that. Did you find what you were looking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say something else, but okay. Never mind. So going along with the Mikado, I'm going to take a long tender and stretch it out a little bit and make one of these 3-axle. I don't know what I just did, but
I ask myself that question every day.
I just changed my view completely on the screen here. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to extend the tender, change the water hatches, and then put some aristo-craft. I have the 3-axle trucks from the tenders. So this is an HO model I found, but I was just looking for something to kind of go off of.
HO, get that out of here. No, I'm just kidding.
Just for guidance. It's just for guidance.
I'm just kidding.
So, but that's going to be another portion of it. You want to do the?
Well, I was just gonna say, like Brian's comment here. I have so much I want to make that no one will ever make. Yeah. And John was wondering if you were going to print trucks.
No, I have the aristo-craft trucks already.
Okay. The only other thing I wanted to show real quick, and then we will do the giveaway to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Is
some of us have to go to work.
Both of us have to go to work. What are you talking about? Let's see here. So many of us, and if you haven't, you will eventually one day, you'll probably deal with the axles in the USA diesels splitting. If it's the older ones, I think they may have fixed it on the newer ones now. And
that doesn't happen.
I've actually sleeved several of mine using K&S brass tubing. I forget the exact size.
I think it's if you buy the 10 millimeter, it slides right on there.
Yeah. And I just wanted to pop Dan's comment up there. Making your own thing equals priceless.
Yep.
I agree. Now I just have to actually build what I printed. But
or just make a nice pile.
That too. Maybe I'll bring it all and give it to Vincent at RLD. He can put them together for me.
There you go.
So the all the files that are here, I'll click on this one here. These were all originally done. It's I'm going to say it wrong. Reuter on Thingiverse. If you look it up, he actually made all these different components. This piece you're seeing here is actually just to put on the end of the axle so you can press it without pushing on the end of the axle end that sticks out. These pieces you see here are a wheel puller if you actually need to pull them apart, but I really can't think of the last time I had to pull wheels back apart. And then these two files here, if you find these parts under eRouter's page, you'll see two remixes, and Michael that's in the chat, he actually remixed. These are actually the gauge that's used when you go to press the wheels back together so that you don't go too far or not far enough. Oops, scroll up there. So it's basically, if I roll it around the right way, it's just so you can press the axles back together. But Michael modified this and opened it up so it accommodates for the brass tubing around the axles. The original ones wouldn't do that. So Michael opened that up and re-uploaded those as a remix. And I've got a couple engines I need to do that on. So I plan on printing those out. I did mine using a couple of sockets and a pair of calipers, and it was definitely interesting. Wow. Yeah, Dan keeps busy. He says he's drawn over 2,000 parts for 129 scale. Good grief.
Yep.
So
it adds up quickly.
Let's move on from that, and let's get this giveaway thing going. So let me get rid of that and share the right screen. Stop sharing the wrong screen first.
Got to start, stop, start.
Stop, start, go. Yes, no. You say jump. I don't say how high. I just start jumping until you tell me to stop. Let's see. All right. Again, Nico will get robbed because he can't participate.
That's right. They're brass. I don't use those anyway.
That's right. You're stainless. I keep forgetting.
Yes.
Apparently Dan must know Eric that drew up the gauge blocks. Hey, it looks like Joseph Lipinski is the winner. Joseph, I don't have, let's see here. There we go. Let me put up the email here for Splitjaw, because you can actually email him directly and give him your info and your address so that you can claim your prize. Like I said, just let him know if you want the direct to rail or over the joiner on those. So let's see. There you go, Joseph. If you want to email david@railclamp.com and just let him know that you were the winner on the Splitjaw giveaway tonight, and you would like the 12 pack of whichever flavor rail clamps you desire. So, with that said, we are now at 9:11.
Yep.
Was there any last minute things that we had to throw in there that we didn't want to miss that was on our list?
Well, I'm sure there are, but we can.
Well, no, I meant like there wasn't like any like important things.
No.
I mean,
I would just like to reiterate that, if there's anything you want to see on the shows, please email us. You want to pop up our email again?
I can do that.
Please email us up, and we'll try and cover the topic the best we can. The truck landing gear was something that somebody requested, and we have no problem trying to do that. And as the show goes on, we're going to try and cover, topics a little bit for the beginner, for entry level, as well as the experts in the field.
Yeah. That is one thing we want to try and focus on, is trying to put a little bit of info in each show for everybody out there, so that nobody feels left out. And there's always new people getting into the hobby that, you kind of tend to forget that, we all started somewhere too, and we didn't really know anything. So
It can be intimidating.
Yeah, it can. But no, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Everybody was great. Lots of good comments in the chat. It looks like everybody had a good time. Looks like Bill Lynch is sleeping already. John Sankovich said, Kyle, we got robbed again. But I see everybody's dropping their thanks in there. I thank everybody for tuning in and watching. And we will wrap this up. So look for us the last Sunday of October, which which is going to be the 30th. We'll be back for another show. We should have, say the name correctly, Nico.
Yagas Creek.
There we go. Yagas Creek will be on to be our guest. We'll see what we'll get into with them. And till then, everybody have fun playing with their trains and stay out of trouble.
Hopefully we'll see some people next week at RLD.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll see me there. Yeah. Unless there's like 100% chance of rain, I plan on being there, but I won't be there till Saturday. So if you're looking for me Friday, you're going to be looking for a while.
I'll be there Thursday night.
Overachieving again. I guess one of us has to. So.
I'm just looking for a vacation.
RLD has a mirror. Well, I guess if I need a good laugh, I can look in it while I'm there.
I'll bring one if you want. We could just follow you around. This way you'll be laughing the whole time.
I should do that at work. I never thought about that. Thursday morning. Oh, that's when making a detour to your... I apologize, Kyle, that you invited me over the same time that I was going to RLD. I do feel bad about that. My apologies.
Me too.
I will make it to your house, though, to check out your layout at some point here. So, Brian's going to be there Thursday morning. There we go. All right. I'm going to stop rambling. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching.
Yes, thank you.
Have a good evening.
Have a good night.